How's it going, everyone? Paul with Adaptable Survival. And what I want to do in today's episode is continue on in the Firestarting 101 series and talk about modern ignition sources and the available options out there that we can always carry with us. Stick with me as we dive into it. So continuing on in the Firestarting 101 series, we are going to talk about some modern ignition sources. So I just have a pouch here with a bunch of different stuff, matches, compass, which we will talk about shortly, ferro rod, and of course, a lighter. So for me, whenever I'm starting to plan out my kit, I really break it down into a couple of different categories. I always have some sort of essentials kit with me, and I will do a separate video on my take on an essential kit for different various needs that I may need in the backcountry. But one of those things is fire starting. In the previous video, we talked about pre-made, commercially available fire starters and tinders that we can carry in our kit to supplement what we find on the landscape. This video will talk more about fire starting, the ignition sources. So I always try and have 3 different ignition sources in my kit. And when I get the top-down view of the little table here and we go through the different pieces that I have with me today, I'll explain my thought process with each one and why I choose to carry it and some of the crossover with a few of the items. So let me get the camera resituated, get a top-down view, and we'll get into it. All right, so I got all of my ignition sources that I carried out with me today. I just carried them in this Kafaru chamber pocket. Don't always carry that like this, but for today, that's why I just packed them all in. So whenever I'm deciding on my kit to carry, especially for fire starting, I want to break it down into a couple of different items, basically from a primary all the way down to last ditch. So my primary, 10 times out of 10, is going to be a lighter, because I know if I strike that, I'm going to get a flame. This lighter is pretty close to out of fuel. Then I have the mini Bic here, and I just bought this, so I still need to take off the child safety, but I'm always going to have one of these in my pocket, have one in my cook kit, so I have multiple lighters with me. If I lose one, I still have another one in my kit. Second to my lighter, my next option that I would go to is my ferro rod. Now this is a 6-inch and this is a 4-inch. Now there's pluses and minuses to both. Obviously the bigger one's a little bit easier to strike, gives you more surface area. Smaller one's just a little bit more compact. You can get a little bit more efficient with your packing. The sparks that come off of a ferro rod are anywhere from 3 to 5,000 degrees. So, I mean, you're going to be plenty hot enough to get some sort of tinder started. It's going to give you thousands of fires out of both of those. Now, my third option is going to be some sort of matches. Now, I like to carry these Yuko Stormproof matches. I typically carry the smaller kit with me instead of the Titans, but the Titans work really, really well, and I've had this set for, I don't know, probably a couple years now. I don't always use matches, but I always have them as a backup in case lighters fail or my ferro rod is lost. At least I have another option that I can get a flame now. And my last ditch option is going to be my mag lens. Now I can either carry the bigger one, or I always have the small one on my compass. My compass is obviously one of my navigational tools, but I always have that as a last ditch. All right, as long as I've made some sort of char material, I can use solar to ignite my fire. Granted, if the sun is out on an overcast day like today when it's raining, getting kind of chilly out, I don't have that availability, so I have my 3 main primaries here. So personally, if I were gearing up to go out, I would most likely have these 4 here. Now this is a Silver Ranger. I typically carry Sunto MC2, but as long as your compass has that mag lens, you always have that with you. If you have your compass with you, then my lighter's always in my pocket, and then my ferro rod and matches are going somewhere in my possibles pouch. Now, these give me a nice compact kit, so I'm not carrying any excess weight. Not that I really care, but if you want to watch how much weight you're carrying, you have these more compact options. You can always go with the bigger options. I mean, the weight difference isn't going to be significant, but main reason I go with the more compact options, it just helps me be a little bit more efficient in my packing. So these are the ignition sources I choose to carry in my kit. Now, I mix and match all of these options based on what I'm doing, based on what I want to use. So there's no right or wrong answer, just whatever personally you want to carry that in your kit. I wanted to show these ignition sources to give you a starting point on giving you an idea of what you should be carrying in your kit. Now down the road, I will do some primitive fire starting stuff with bow drills, pump drill, all that stuff. But with this series, this basic survival series, this basic outdoor skills series, I want to focus more on modern methods that we can carry, so we have surefire ways in our kit and we aren't trying to source the right material off the landscape. We can get all of our needs met as quickly as possible. In the comment section down below, let me know what ignition sources you love to use. I always look forward to seeing what y'all are using out there. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That gets more eyes on the channel, helps getting those people into our community so we can grow our knowledge base and learn together and grow together. As always, this has been Paul with Adaptable Survival. Adapt your mind, your body, and your gear.